We are breaking down this photo. Yes, you heard that correctly. We are doing a full breakdown of a photo. Now I hear you. Before you comment, please watch the entirety of this video. So I want to make sure before you guys just comment that it's fake or whatever, you get as much context as possible. Knowledge is power, my kings. Knowledge is power. And also for the more critical of you, this is fun. I'm not a Rockstar insider and it's okay to have some fun with this. Cool, so now all of that is out the way, we're going to cover the following points. What is this leak? Where did it come from? Who did it come from? When did it come from? The office furniture, the phone that this very picture was taken from, some hidden details in the image, does this shadow prove that it's fake? And then of course, if it's real, am I gonna get copyright claimed? We're gonna cover all of this, but very quickly, a quick word from today's video sponsor. Are you looking for a cool server in GTA 5 RP? Then let me introduce you to Grand Roleplay. Now Grand Roleplay have developed a system of factions, a huge fleet of cars, and a bunch of cool clothes for any styles or trends. All of this collected here. And most importantly, you can start playing completely for free in just a couple of clicks. The first thing you need to do is follow the link in the description to the project's website. Fill out all of the fields and create your custom character. Now it's very important to register through the site because this way you can get one of 3 premium cars to choose from right at the very beginning of the game. You can also register directly in the game itself, but make sure you don't forget to enter my ID in the special field, which will give you a nice bonus of in-game currency and VIP status for a very quick start. And recently on the server there is a new battle pass which opens access to exclusive rewards and content, and they also have their brand new winter update and themed events which goes alongside a gift system and all sorts of prizes. So make sure you click the link down below, and a massive thank you to Grand RP for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back into the video. So firstly, what is this? Well, this is an image from the inside of Rockstar San Diego, and we can prove that later in the video. But this is supposedly Rockstar Games offices. Next we have where. Where did it come from? Well, this was posted to Reddit by someone that was working inside of Rockstar's offices, which then brings us on to who. Who did it come from? Well, it would appear that this person worked in some form of facilities management, managing the office buildings during the time that this was taken, which then goes on to the next question. When was this photo taken? Now, despite all of these miraculous theories of Rockstar developers going out for lunch and then this person snapping this photo, unfortunately, this story actually isn't that elaborate. This was in 2021. No one was working in the offices, everyone was working from home, and the way that they worked from home was just by remote connecting to their desktop that was back in the office. All of the screens were off, but nearly all of the computers were on. That way, the facility management company, the people that are in charge of cleaning Rockstar's offices, or whether they are a direct Rockstar employee themselves, would be able to walk around, hoover, dust, clean, check that toilets aren't overflowing, make sure the building's nice and clean and looked after while people were working from home. Now, for some reason, to a lot of people that isn't believable, but as someone that worked throughout the pandemic and from a shared office building, I can assure you that the only people in those buildings were cleaners and people that were just maintaining the grounds and the building itself. This isn't anything extreme, this is relatively normal stuff. Then this goes on to kind of the next theory, which is the office furniture. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is not a Rockstar office, or maybe it used to be a Rockstar office, or wasn't and then was becoming a Rockstar office, and all of these convoluted theories. The biggest thing that's leading people to believe this is the fact that some of the furniture and stuff in the office has plastic packaging on it, like some of the chairs are covered in plastic packaging. Now, we don't know 100% why that would be covered in plastic packaging, but here are some theories. A lot of people may take in their keyboards home with them to work from home. This is for a number of good reasons. Firstly, it means that during the pandemic, loads of people aren't sharing keyboards, but also some games developers have their own custom key command set up, and there are certain keyboards that are being custom mapped for different controls when it comes to like games design stuff. So a lot of people may take in their keyboards with them. That's one hypothetical. The other option is that as people are starting to come back to work, because at the end of 2021, people were planning to come back into the office, Rockstar just may have bought new keyboards, new chairs, and new accessories, as people have been out of the office for a while, and it might make sense to just buy a load of new stuff during that period. The other thing is that Rockstar could be expanding their office. Now, this particular office in question is part of a series of office blocks all on the same road. It's very possible that Rockstar just took on more offices in the same building, or maybe took on a separate building for more staff, and this is potentially some new equipment that has been bought in for the new people that are coming back to work. Like I said, we don't know, but assuming that everything is completely automatically fake because you don't understand something is a bit naive. So let's just propose some alternative theories there. Any of these things are entirely possible, including the possibility that it's entirely fake. Now this brings us on to the next point, which is the phone the picture was taken from. For some reason, people got the impression that the image that was taken was a really blurry image, and I think this is partially my fault for confusing the lines a little bit. Now I showed this image on screen. This image is this image that we see on the computer desktop, but stretched out to fill the full screen. This was just done so people could see it a bit clearer without any of the edges being warped, and a lot of people are saying that this was the original photo. It's not. This one's the original photo. And this photo is perfectly clear for a nearly 4-year-old photo. Now this begs the question, what was this photo taken on? Unfortunately, actually inside the photo itself, we got access to some of the data from the photo. So if you don't know, in a lot of original images, especially on iPhones, in the JPEG or HEIC data that's linked to the file, you usually have the camera specs and location data. And in this image file, we had all of that information. So we could see that the photo was taken on June the 22nd, 2021 at nearly 7 p.m. The image name is in exactly the same name format that iPhones use, IMG underscore then the image number. Then we can see it was taken on an iPhone 12 Pro, but also we have the ISO, aperture, and shutter speed figures for the camera. And then of course at the bottom, the most telling is the address, which happens to be the address for Rockstar San Diego. Now it's entirely possible that all of this stuff was edited and changed. It can be, it is possible. Now I think it's worth saying that I've never seen the actual address data taken from an Apple iPhone come up with the exact same address that comes up on Google for an office. Like Apple's geolocation might say something like the road you're on. I've never actually seen it say exactly the building number and everything in the past. That's the only thing that makes me believe that this could have been doctored, but this is one contextual piece of knowledge out of many. So let's cover the rest. So firstly, there's the claims that this isn't Rockstar's offices. And that's entirely possible. It could be a coincidence that this image had the same location data as San Diego's offices, and it could also be an absolutely monumental coincidence that the windows look exactly the same. But on top of that, we have two more pieces of evidence. We have these two videos that came with this original photo. And in one of these photos, we have an Xbox developer kit, and in another photo, we have the PlayStation developer kit, which was for the PlayStation 5. Now, it's very rare we actually get to see these, and not every games developer can get their hands on one. So whatever building this is, it's clearly a games developer that has a close enough relationship to Sony and Microsoft to get access to these dev kits. So right now we're riding on the coincidence that this happens to be a games developer in an office which conveniently looks the exact same with the same location data as one of Rockstar's offices. I think we get to the point now where we can agree this is probably a Rockstar Games office. But the big thing in question, is this legitimate? Well, there's a few key things that we need to look at in the image. Firstly, I don't believe the image is AI generated. Now when we expand it out to full screen, this has been enhanced with AI, but that's just getting rid of stuff like noise and chromatic aberration and all of that stuff. The detail in this, like some of the stuff, for example, leaves on the floor, the wall, the mud just behind the wall, the containers in the background. These are things that match up to stuff that we saw in the leaks and of course in the trailer. For me, this appears to be far too clean to be a fake. Like when they're AI generated, they are obviously AI generated. Now that being said, that doesn't prove necessarily anything. I'm just saying that I don't believe this image was created from AI, but it could have been created with really skillful photoshopping. Now the big thing over the past 12 to 24 hours has been that apparently Lucia's shadow doesn't make sense because the sun's on her back. Now for me, this was the most bizarre claim out of all of them because she's facing slightly towards the wall. I know I should be an artist, but bear with me, here's my diagram. We have the wall on the right, we have Lucia in the middle slightly facing towards the wall, and the shadow appearing just to be to the right of her, maybe slightly behind. So if the sun's here, the sun will be shining on her back, leaving a shadow round about here, so this photo makes perfect sense. Now next we can talk about the behavior of the shadow, people saying that the shadow isn't behaving properly. I personally think that this isn't clear enough for us to be able to discern whether that's true or not. Maybe that is true, but the actual position of the shadow, in my opinion, makes absolute perfect sense considering where the sun is. But yeah, in my opinion, I don't think the shadow really debunks it. Now if we were to put it on a scale of 0 to 100 as a percentage of whether I think this is a likely leak or not, I'm gonna put it somewhere around about 45 to 50%. And the only reason I'm saying that is if I didn't have 200, 300 people a week messaging me with what supposedly are fake leaks, supposed emails from Aaron Garbett, which are completely not true, by the way. I've verified this. This is definitely not true. I get so many somewhat quarter 1% plausible theories sent to me all the time. Out of all the ones that I've been sent, Like this one probably goes on the higher end of legitimacy in terms of what can be verifiable. The other things as well is a lot of people have pointed out that all of the computers in the office are turned off. And yes, they would be. The monitors themselves would be turned off, but the PCs themselves would be turned on. It would just be the monitors that are off. Now, all it takes is this person, whether they're a facility manager, whether they're a cleaner, whatever, to just go over to a computer, tap the on button, and they would see whatever the dev is working on at home. Also, more to the point, from what I understand, looking at previous photos of Rockstar offices, there doesn't appear to be CCTV in these main offices, just to avoid the likelihood of them potentially getting hacked and people seeing what they're doing. So this person walking around would be able to turn on a screen and not be disturbed in the process. We then, of course, also have the fact that the reflections around the edge of the screen, if this is a fake, are pretty real, like convincingly real. The way that they warp with the edge of the plastic, they're not just straight reflections. There's a lot of things within this that, if it is a fake, they've gone above and beyond to make a fake. Now this brings me to the big Chungus question, the big gotcha that everyone was commenting on my last video.
If you believed this was real, you wouldn't be uploading this to your channel.
Yes, I would. Now, when it comes to the leaked footage from back in 2022, those are pure 100% asset files belonging to Rockstar Games. Those files were shared internally. The actual file itself is property of Take-Two Interactive. Any usage of those video files does constitute as copyright infringement. By me showing this photo in my video, Take-Two Interactive do not own this photo. This photo is owned by the person that took it. Take-Two Interactive cannot submit a copyright claim against me for this photo. Yes, they own this thing in the middle, but once again, this falls into a grey area of gameplay. Now, gameplay, which it looks like this is, falls into a massive grey area when it comes to the rights holder, because anything done within the gameplay is classed as transformative. More to the point, this isn't an image by Rockstar. Rockstar haven't screen captured this to share it internally. Rockstar haven't played a video internally to share around their employees. But also, one of the key cornerstones of copyright law is whether this piece of work, i.e. my video about the topic, acts as a valid replacement for the original piece of work. So for example, if Take-Two wanted to take me to court, they'd have to argue that me showing this screenshot mean that the people that are viewing this content would no longer play GTA 6 because they've got all of the fulfillment of the game from watching my video. And trust me, I would appreciate it if you all found my videos that fulfilling and you subscribed, but it's very unlikely that that would be the case. Now this brings me on to my conclusion. What do I think about all of this in general? And this is something I tweeted about, and this is probably something that is important to say at the end of this video. It doesn't matter if it's real or fake. It really doesn't at this point. If it was something that could give us a trailer 2 date, or if it was something that told us about a key feature in the game, its authenticity would be something that really did matter. But something like this doesn't really matter. Out of all the things that Rockstar would be likely to do, like in terms of intentionally mess with the community, this is the sort of thing that Rockstar probably could be most likely to actually do themselves as a troll. And I'm not saying for one second that the person that put this on Reddit is a Rockstar employee or someone official at Rockstar did it or whatever. I'm not saying that's the case, but if there was to be something that Rockstar were to do, this is more like it, where they give us a nugget of something, but it means nothing. Yeah, in my opinion, this appears to be legitimate. It could also be entirely false. We don't know. It is worth saying though that from the time period that this is from, this does look like the art style that we saw in the pre-alpha leaks. Speaking to a few professionals on Unreal Engine, they said that it doesn't really look too much like Unreal Engine. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really keen to hear what you guys think about this. Once again, it doesn't really matter if it's real or fake. It doesn't tell us anything. It's just fun. And I think we should all learn to have a bit of fun with this sort of stuff, because this is the sort of leak that really doesn't harm Rockstar, doesn't really harm anyone. It's just a bit of fun for the whole family. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. And a massive thank you to Grand RP for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you click the link down below. And I'll see you all in the next one.